Hello everyone. Today we will begin a new chapter titled In the Earliest Cities. In the Earliest Cities. Our first section is the story of Harappa. Before we dive into that, let's take a moment to recall the events that took place before the Harappan civilization emerged. Long before the rise of cities like Harappa, the region now known as Pakistan and Northwest India. Let me show you in the map. This Pakistan, this side, and Northwest India, this. This was inhabited by various communities engaged in hunting, gathering, and fishing. Over time, these groups began to settle and farm the fertile land along the Indus River. Around 7000 BCE, people started domesticating plants and animals. They grew crops like wheat and barley, which led to more stable food supplies. This transition from a nomadic lifestyle to settled agriculture laid the foundation for larger communities. As agriculture thrived, small villages began to form. People developed new skill in pottery, weaving, and tool making. The villages served as hubs for trade where surplus goods were exchanged. With the growth of agriculture and crafts, trade routes began to expand. Goods were exchanged not only locally but also with the distant regions. The interaction fostered cultural exchanges and innovation. By around 2500 BCE, these early settlements evolved into more complex urban centers, that is Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro. They emerged as key cities, showcasing advanced planning and architecture. This period saw the rise of unique culture with distinct art, writing, and the religious practices. The emphasis on community and trade led to a thriving society. Moving on to the first topic, that is the story of Harappa. The site of Harappa was first identified in the 19th century. In 1826, Charles Mason, a British army deserter, came across the ruins while exploring the Punjab region. However, it wasn't until 20th century that serious archaeological work began. The first major excavation were conducted by Sir John Marshall and his team in 1920s. These excavations are part of a larger effort to uncover the ancient civilization of the Indian subcontinent. The excavation revealed well-planned street, advanced drainage system, brick structure, indicating a highly developed urban society. The discovery of seals, pottery, and other artifacts provided insight into the culture, trade, and daily life of the Harappan. As more sites were discovered, including Mohenjo-Daro and Dholavira, it became clear that Harappa was part of a larger civilization that thrived in the Indus Valley region. This realization shifted historical perspective, highlighting the sophistication of early urban centers in India. The discovery of Harappa marked a pivotal moment in archaeology, revealing the complexities of one of the world's earliest urban civilization. It showcased the rich history of the Indian subcontinent and continues to be a focal point for research and exploration. Both UPSC and UPPSC can ask questions related to the Harappan civilization. Question may focus on the importance of Harappa in the context of early urbanization in India and its contribution to the ancient history. Candidate might be asked to discuss the feature of Harappan's urban planning, including its drainage system, street layout, and standardized brick size, which is mentioned here. Question can cover the culture, practices, art and craft, and trade network of the Harappan, including the use of seals and inscriptions. So, what was the special about these cities? Cities were divided into different parts. One of the part was usually built on a raised platform, which was known as the citadel. It was an important feature of Harappan city. The citadel often housed important public buildings such as granaries, assembly hall, and possibly religious structures. The citadel may have likely acted as an administrative hub where city officials and leaders conducted important affairs, managed resources, and organized community activities. It may have been a center for social and religious activities, indicating the cultural importance of the citadel within the Harappan society. While the focus of the citadel are widely accepted based on available evidence, they remain interpretation rather than established fact. Ongoing research and discoveries may continue to refine our understanding of the citadel's role in Harappan society. As we know, the city was divided into different parts. One is citadel, another one is lower town. The lower town refers to the part of Harappan city that was situated below the citadel area. The lower town was located at a lower elevation compared to the citadel, which was typically built on a raised platform. This area consisted of residential building where the general population lived. Houses were often constructed using standardized baked brick. The lower town features street, lanes, advanced drainage system, indicating a well-planned urban environment. The layout was designed for easy movement and sanitation. It likely included spaces for air, trade and crafts, where artisans worked and goods were exchanged. This suggests that the lower town was a bustling part of our daily life. The distinction between the citadel and lower town reflects the social organization of Harappan society, with the citadel serving as administrative and ceremonial purposes while the lower town accommodated everyday life. Now, I think I forgot to discuss this. These are the locations. Here in the map you can see Mohenjo-Daro, and these are the important Harappan sites. Lothal, it is a famous site of Harappa where the dockyard was. Now this is Dholavira, Chanhudaro, and Kalibangan is also an important site. Rakhigadi and Harappa, Mohenjo-Daro. These are Indus Valley Civilization. Now let's talk about how the houses were built. The houses were made up of baked brick, which were uniform in size. That means it was standardized. Uniform bricks. So what are the advantage of uniform bricks? Uniform bricks provide better interlocking and structural stability. As you can see in the picture, bricks were arranged to build wall in Harappan city. How they are arranged in interlocking pattern. This provide stability. When bricks fit together precisely, it strengthen the walls and make building more durable. The use of uniform brick reflect planning and design in architecture. It indicates a high level of organization within a society, showcasing their advanced engineering skills. Now, walls of the houses were sometimes coated with mud plasters, and in some cases decorations were also done. Now, most houses had flat roofs that could be used for various activities such as drying crops or social gathering. It was like villages houses in our India, which still have flat roofs that serve as extra living space for drying crops, storing material, or socializing. Many homes featured a central courtyard, which provided a private outdoor area. This was often a focal point for family activities. It may have been like those found in many Indian villages today. Now, how was the drainage system? How was the drainage system worked? Now drains ran along the street, like in the picture here, which were constructed from the baked brick or stones. Many were covered with slabs, which helped prevent blockage and allowed people to walk over them. Drains were built with a slight slope, now to ensure efficient flow of water and waste away from residential areas. A notable feature of Harappa was the presence of indoor toilets, often which were often made up of stone, and it was linked to a sophisticated drainage system. Most houses most houses had drains built into the floor that connected to the larger street drain, like this, which helped in maintaining the sanitation. The emphasis of drainage suggests that the Harappan valued cleanliness and hygiene. Now, let's see how the houses were built in Harappa. Now, let's see how the houses were built in Harappa. The houses in Harappa is a part of ancient Indus Valley Civilization, were well planned and constructed with impressive architecture. Most houses were built using baked brick, which were durable and provided good insulation. Baked bricks, which are still used now commonly, offer several advantages, such as they are much stronger than unbaked ones, making them resistant to withering and wear over time. Bricks were arranged in interlocking pattern, as we have seen here. This helped distribute weight evenly, making walls stronger and more resistant to collapse. Now we have already discussed about the drainage system. Now let's get to know how the street was in Harappa. Now the street in Harappa were well planned and organized. Some of the features are: the street were arranged in a straight grid-like layout, making it easy to navigate. Now the many streets were wide enough for cars and people to move around comfortably, and there were drains alongside the street to carry away water and waste, helping to prevent flooding. Unlike our time where water logging during the monsoon is a common phenomena. Anyway, sport. Now the different areas were designated for homes, market and public spaces, making it easy for people to find what they needed. Now the streets were connected with various neighborhoods and the important place in the city. Now this encouraged interaction in the trade. One question is given here. Let's see. No, first we will do this one. List at least two differences between the houses described here and those that is studied in the chapter 2. As we have read in chapter 2, prehistoric people used to live in caves, and the caves were usually simpler. Now houses in Harappa had a more complex design, often featuring multiple rooms, flat roofs and sometimes courtyards. Although there are many differences, but here we will discuss only two. Another difference can be prehistoric settlement were more scattered and informal, lacking structure, street and organized settlement. While in Harappa, the city had a planned layout with the street arranged in a grid, showcasing advanced urban planning. Now moving on to this topic, life in the city. Life in the city of Harappa. Life in the city of Harappa was characterized by organization, trade and cultural richness. As we have read, it has a well-planned layout with the street arranged in a grid pattern, making navigation easy. Homes were made up of baked bricks, often had multiple rooms. There were courtyard also. Harappa was a thriving trade center, with merchants engaging in commerce with neighboring region. Goods such as textile, beads and pottery were commonly traded, contributing to a vibrant economy. Now, Harappan practiced various crafts like pottery, jewelry making, metalwork, reflecting a rich cultural life. A variety of specialized craftsmen lived in Harappa, producing goods like pottery, jewelry, and tools. This specialization contributed to the city's economic diversity. Artifacts like seals, which is it suggests that the existence of a writing system and religious practices. Writing system, something is written here, but it is undeciphered. Archaeologists have also found terracotta toys. Now, the terracotta toys from Harappa are fascinating and tell us a lot about life in the ancient Indus Valley. Many toys were shaped like people, especially children and women. They are also made toys made to look like animals such as cows and elephant, as you can see in the picture. In short, terracotta toys from Harappa show us how children played and learned in their culture, reflecting both creativity and community value. Now, something one or two question is mentioned here. Make a list of the people who lived in the city, and there is another one where any of these people listed as living in the villages such as Mehergarh. Now, I want you to attempt this question on your own. We have learned so much already. I think it's time for you to show off your skills by doing the exercise by yourself. Let's explore the new topic, that is new crafts in the city. One of the standout features of Harappan civilization was its advanced craftsmanship, which utilized a variety of material. Let's explore these in detail. First up is clay, which was extensively used for pottery. Now, Harappan pottery was not only functional but also beautifully decorated with intricate design. Next, we have cotton. The Harappan were among the first to weave cotton, producing high quality textile that were highly prized. You should note that Mehergarh is believed to be one of the earliest cities to have domesticated cotton, dating back to around 7000 BCE. Archaeological evidence suggests that the people of Mehergarh were among the first to cultivate and weave cotton. In contrast, Harappa, part of the later Indus Valley Civilization, shows advanced textile production, including cotton. But it emerged after the early development seen in Mehergarh. Moving on to metals, copper and bronze were pivotal for creating tools, weapons, and ornaments. This reflects their advanced metallurgy skill. Now, the Harappan people also used semi-precious stone. Harappan artisans excelled in bead making, creative intricate beads from various semi-precious stone. In Harappa, there were likely specialists dedicated to making jewelry. These specialists would have possessed advanced skill in techniques such as carving, drilling, and polishing, enabling them to create intricate design and high quality pieces. These artisans employed advanced techniques such as drilling, carving, and polishing to create finely detailed design. As you can see in the picture, these jewelries show high level of craftsmanship. Here a material called faience has been mentioned. Let us know little about this faience. Faience is a artificial material, unlike stones and shell, which are naturally occurring. Faience is typically made from a core of quartz or sand, which are then mixed with a binder such as plant ash or clay. The mixture is then fired and coated with a glaze, which can be colored using various mineral pigment. In ancient culture, faience was commonly used to create small items such as amulets, beads, ties, and decorative figurines. It was popular in the ancient Indus Valley Civilization, but was also used in other culture. There were also workshops to do these works. Evidence suggests that there may have been many dedicated workshops or areas within Harappan city where jewelry was crafted, indicating a more organized production system. Now let's get to know about the use of stone in Harappa. Stone weight. Now stone weight found in Harappa and Indus Valley sites provide valuable insight into the civilization's trade practice. Stone weight in Harappa were standardized, reflecting an organized system of measurement crucial for trade and economic activities. Now standardization means they were uniform in size and shape. As you can see, it is visible here. This indicates that they were a part of a standardized measurement system. Common shapes include cubes and cylinder. The presence of standardized weight indicates a sophisticated level of economic organization within Harappan society, now, which highlight their ability to regulate trade and maintain a functioning market system. Now, numerous examples of standardized weight have been discovered at various Indus Valley sites, which reinforces the idea that these measures were widely used across the civilization. Let's discuss about this bust, which is most probably a bust of a priest. The bust is made from a statite. It is finely crafted, demonstrating the advanced artistic skill of a Harappan artisan. The sculpture depicts a male figure with prominent feature, including a well-defined beard, large eyes, elaborate headgear, as you can see, which is often interpreted as indicative of a priestly or elite status. The bust is thought to represent a religious or ceremonial figure, possibly indicating the importance of priesthood or spiritual leadership in Harappan society. The figure's attire and accessories suggest a high social status. The attention to detail in the bust, such as the intricate facial feature and stylized representation, highlight the artistic sophistication of the civilization. The sculpture shows a complex drapery, as you can see here, that appears to cover the figure's shoulder and upper body. The existence of such representation supports the idea that textile production was a significant craft in the Indus Valley civilization. Archaeological findings indicate that cotton and other fibers were used for weaving, emphasizing the civilization's advanced textile technology. Now, let's find out how the Harappan people procure raw material. The Harappan civilization, which is also known as Indus Valley Civilization, I keep reminding you so that whenever I say Indus Valley, you should know that I'm talking about Harappa or Mohenjo-Daro. They had a sophisticated system for procuring raw material, which played a crucial role in their economy and trade. So how did they obtain material for their craft? As we know, area of these civilizations were extremely fertile. So the agriculture productivity of the Indus Valley provided surplus goods, which could be traded for raw material. The agriculture base allowed the Harappa to engage in barter. Barter system means that if you give someone something, then they will give you something in return, and they trade more effectively. Mostly they utilize nearby natural resources. For example, they sourced clay for pottery, stone for tools, and metal like copper and bronze from local deposit. They also established extensive trade network with neighboring region. Raw materials such as lapis lazuli from the Afghanistan, carnelian from Gujarat, timber from Vindhya mountains were traded. Evidence suggests that they engage in long-distance trade with Mesopotamia and other culture. In a while, we will learn about the dockyard, which was used for long-distance trade. I think I have already told you the Lothal. So how were goods carried from one place to another place? Goods in the Harappan civilization were carried from one place to another place by several methods. Archaeological evidence suggests the use of wheeled cart for transporting goods. As you can see in the picture, one toy resembling cart has been found. This cart would have been particularly useful for moving heavier items over the developed road network in their cities. Donkeys, oxen, and camels were commonly used to carry goods. These animals could transport a variety of items from agriculture produce to manufactured goods across the relatively short distances between markets and homes. Since Harappa had well-planned grid city, it facilitated the movements of goods through its streets, allowing merchants to easily reach markets and consumers. So, how did they transport goods over long distance? The Indus River and its tributaries serve as major transportation route. Boats and rafts would have been used to move goods along the river, facilitating trade with other regions. Coastal cities like Lothal, which I have already shown you. It had docks that enable maritime trade. Ships could be loaded with goods for transport to other regions, including trade with Mesopotamia. Now the next is food for people in the cities. Let's first look how the life in the city were different from that of the rural life. So let's see how was the life in urban area and how was the life in rural area. Now the cities like Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro, they had advanced urban planning, and the planning here was less advanced, and they had mud bricks houses and thatched roof, while they had multi-story building, and their economy was more diverse. It dependent on trade, craft, specialization such as metallurgy and bead making. And the rural life, it was little bit different. It relied mostly on agriculture. Now the density was higher here, and the lower population density here. And how was the social structure? It has more or less social hierarchy. However, social hierarchy in those times were not as rigid as it was in later periods. Now the in the rural life, social structure tended to be simpler. And how was the what was the cultural practices? They had some religious practices, but in the rural life, localized ritual tied to agriculture cycle. And in the infrastructure in the urban area, it was advanced, and in the rural area it was less developed. I'm putting this in a frame so that you can take a screenshot. Here we find a mention of plow. The plow would have been instrumental in preparing the land for sowing crops such as wheat, barley, and pulses. Artifacts including terracotta models of plow, like here, have been found at various Harappan sites, indicating that plow agriculture was part of their farming technique. The Harappans likely used oxen to pull the plow, which would have increased efficiency in tilling the soil. The use of plow likely contributed to higher agriculture yield, supporting the growing urban population and trade networks. Let's get to know about the city called Dholavira. Dholavira is located in the arid region of the Run of Kutch in Gujarat. Let me show you in the map. Dholavira. It dates back to around 3000 BCE, making it one of the oldest cities in the Indus Valley Civilization. Now, it was excavated in the 1960s by archaeologist Jagatpati Joshi. Dholavira provides key insight into the urban planning, architecture, and social organization of the Harappan. The city is notable for its sophisticated layout, including a well planned drainage system, reservoirs, and water conservation techniques. The presence of large water storage facility suggests advanced engineering. These reservoirs were vital for the community, reflecting the importance of water management in the arid landscape of Dholavira. Now, Dhoravira is also famous for its seals and inscription. The presence of unique glyphs suggests a script used by the Harappa. Although it remains undeciphered, this adds a layer of mystery to their society. Seals which are found here, the seals from Dholavira have distinctive shapes and sizes. Sometimes these are larger than those found in other Harappan cities. Now, today Dholavira is recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Its preservation allows us to study urbanization in ancient India and offer lessons on sustainable living in arid environment. Now, let's delve into Lothal. First, let me show you in the map where the Lothal is. Now, Lothal is here. It is a most significant archaeological site of the Harappan civilization. Now, it is located, as I show you in the map, in the state of Gujarat near the Gulf of Khambat. It dates back to around 2400 BCE. It is one of the earliest known ports in the world, which played a crucial role in maritime trade. It was excavated in 1950s by archaeologist S.R. Rao. Lothal offers invaluable insight into the urban planning, trade practices, and daily life of the Harappa. One of the most remarkable features of the Lothal is its well-planned dockyard, which is thought to be the oldest in the world. This is the dockyard. This used to be the dockyard. These docks allowed ships to anchor and trade goods, connecting Lothal to distant regions like Mesopotamia. Now, trade was vital to Lothal's economy. The site is known for its unique seals made from materials like statite and terracotta, often featuring intricate design. These seals were likely used to authenticate goods during trade transaction. Lothal also showcases exceptional craftsmanship in pottery, bead making, and metallurgy. Artifacts found here reflect the artistic skills and technological advancement of the Harappan civilization. Now, archaeological findings suggest that Lothal was not just a trading hub but also a vibrant community where people engaged in various craft and agriculture activity. The discovery of residential area indicates a structured society. Now let's get to know about the use of seals in Harappa, which have been found throughout the civilization. Seals have been found across various Harappan sites, including Mohenjo-Daro, Harappa, and Lothal, indicating their widespread use and importance in the civilization. Most seals were made from statite, a soft stone that could be easily carved. Some were also crafted from terracotta, ivory, and other material. The seals often display intricate design, including animals and geometric patterns and mythical creatures, showcasing the artistic skill of the Harappan craftsmen. And now the one seal is shown here. As you can see, the design, they are very fine. Now, common motifs include animals like unicorn, elephants, and bull, which may have had symbolic or religious significance. Many seals feature inscription in an undeciphered script, suggesting a form of written communication. The exact language and meaning remain a mystery. So, what was the purpose of these seals? Seals were used to authenticate goods in trade, acting like a stamp of approval. They they often bore specific design or inscription that indicate ownership or origin. Merchant likely used seals to mark package, helping to identify content and establish trust in trade transaction. Some seals featured religious or symbolic motifs, suggesting they had a spiritual or cultural significance in ritual or community identity. Now, I forgot to tell you about the Great Bath. Let's have a little bit discussion about this, then we will wrap up the chapter. Let's get to know more about the Great Bath of Mohenjo-Daro. It is one of the most significant archaeological finding of the Indus Valley Civilization. Now, Mohenjo-Daro mean Mound of the Dead. It was discovered in 1920. The Great Bath is a large rectangular structure located in the citadel area. Now, the bath was made up of fixed brick and was waterproofed with a layer of bitumen. The structure is notable for its large staircase leading down into the water. Now there were rooms surrounding the bath, possibly for changing or storage. Evidence of a well-maintained drainage system underscores the city's sanitation practices. Great Bath also reflect the cultural and social values of the Indus Valley people. It suggests a society that valued communal activities and possibly had religious or spiritual practices linked to water. Now let's wrap up this chapter. After learning how did the ancient civilization came to an end, the cities began to die. The mystery of the end. Around 1500 BCE, the cities of Harappan civilization began to disintegrate. Historians have argued why this could have happened. Evidence suggests that there were significant shifts in climate, leading to decreased monsoon rains. This would have impacted agriculture, which was crucial for sustaining large population. The Indus River and its tributaries may have changed its course, or maybe because one of the biggest tributary, the Ghagar Hakra, had dried up, reducing water for reducing access to water for irrigation and drinking. Some even think that Harappa could have been the first example of negative effect of overexploitation of resources. Deforestation and depletion of fertile soil could have contributed to agriculture decline. Also, around this time, a new people were entering India from the west, and they may have attacked these cities, forcing people to flee and abandon their home. There is one theory that is called Aryan invasion theory. It is a historical hypothesis that suggests that a group of nomadic people, we don't know exactly who those were, but they invaded, and they could have been the people from Afghanistan or Indo-European, known as the Aryans. They invaded or migrated into the Indian subcontinent around 1500 BCE. This theory was used to explain the decline of the Indus Valley civilization and the subsequent rise of the Vedic culture in ancient India. The Harappans were peaceful people, as proven by the few weapons found at site. Probably all these factors with the Harappan combined with the climate change and the arrival of the new people may have contributed to the decline of the civilization. Now after the civilization, which lasted for 1000 years, it crumbled in the sun and be forgotten for over the 2 millennium. Now, during the time of the Harappan civilization, several significant developments were occurring in different parts of the world. The other early civilization of this time were Mesopotamia in Iraq, Shang dynasty in China. The pharaoh were ruling in the Egypt around the same time and building the Great Pyramids. You can read more about Egyptian civilization written here and brainstorm the question given here. In the Now let's discuss the exercises given here. Now the first question is you are traveling with your parents about 4000 years ago from Lothal to Mohenjo-Daro. Describe how you would travel and what your parents might carry with them and what you would see in the Mohenjo-Daro. Now I'm going to answer this question from my perspective. You can add extra information whenever you want it. So here it goes. Traveling from Lothal to Mohenjo-Daro around 4000 years ago would be an adventure filled with sights, sound, and experience of the Harappan civilization. Now, most likely, we would travel on foot. If we were fortunate, we might have a wooden cart pulled by an oxen to carry our belongings. The distance between Lohathal and Mohenjo-Daro is significant, so we would make our journey over several days. We would follow trade routes along the banks of the river, which provided water and food resources. The landscape would feature fields of crops, bustling settlement, and perhaps patches of forest. Now, what my parents might carry, they will carry food supplies such as dried fruit, grains, and perhaps some prepared foods in clay pots. We will also need water, so we will take leather or clay containers filled with water for drinking during journey. If we are going for many days, we will need extra cloth, so we will carry woven garments likely made from cotton along with some extra clothing for changes during our travel. Now I'm going to describe the scene as I enter into the Mohenjo-Daro. As we enter the city, I would be struck by the organized layout, straight city, advanced drainage system, well-built houses made up of baked bricks. One of the first sight would be the Great Bath, an impressive structure that likely held religious significance and reflected the importance of water in Harappan culture. We would visit a bustling marketplace filled with the merchants trading goods like pottery, jewelry, textile, and food. The sound of bargaining and the variety of goods would be overwhelming. If we have time, we could explore potential religious sites, perhaps or observing rituals or offering. This journey would be an exciting blend of adventure, learning, and experiencing the vibrant culture of one of the world's earliest urban centers. Now, moving on to the next question, let us recall. First question is, how do archaeologists know that the cloth was used in the Harappan civilization? First up, we have textile impression found on pottery and clay seals. These impressions showcase the patterns of woven fabric, indicating that textile making was an essential part of the daily life in Harappan society. Another exciting piece of evidence is the discovery of dyes. Residues of plant material used for coloring textile have been found at various sites, suggesting that dyeing fabric was a common practice among the Harappan. Not to forget the artistic depiction. Some seals and figurines feature clothing and hairstyle, giving us a glimpse into the textile styles and the importance of attire in their culture. Now, next up is match the column. Now, the copper. Copper, it is believed that copper was imported from region like Rajasthan into the Harappan civilization. Rajasthan, particularly the area around Khetri and other copper sites, had significant deposits of copper ore. So the correct option would be Rajasthan. Copper, Rajasthan. Now the next is gold. It is believed that gold was imported into the Harappan civilization from regions like Karnataka. Karnataka, particularly the areas around the Deccan Plateau, was known for its gold mines, including those in places like Kolar and Hatti. So the correct option is Karnataka. Now, precious stones. Gujarat is known for its rich deposit of semi-precious and precious stones, such as diamonds, agate, and carnelian. Carnelian evidence suggests that the Harappan used these stones for jewelry and trade. Now, the tin is, I forgot the tin is left. Tin most probably came from Afghanistan. It is believed that the Harappan sourced tin through trade network from regions where it was available, such as Afghanistan, present Iran, or possibly even further afield. Now the next question is, why were metals, writing, the wheel and the plough were important for the Harappan? First, let's explore why the metal was important. The Harappan utilized materials like copper, bronze, and tin to create tools and weapons. These advancements improved agriculture efficiency and provided advantage in trade and defense. Plus, metalworking allowed them to craft intricate jewelry and artifacts, making them highly sought after in trade network. Now let's talk about writing. While the Harappan script is still undeciphered, it was likely used for record keeping in trade and administration. Writing facilitated communication across vast trade network, helping manage commerce and maintain social organization. Now on to the wheel. This invention revolutionized transportation. Wheeled vehicles made it easier to move goods over long distances, which was vital for trade. It enhanced connectivity with other civilizations, contributing to economic prosperity. Last but not the least, the plow. This tool significantly improved agriculture productivity, allowing for more efficient tilling of soil, leading to increased crop yield. Enhanced agriculture output supported large population, contributing to the growth and stability of the urban centers. So as you can see, metals, writing, wheel, the plough were integral to the Harappan civilization's development. These advancements promoted economic growth, social organization and cultural complexity, shaping one of the world's earliest urban societies. Moving on to next one, let's discuss. Now the question in this exercise focus on your understanding of the topic. Please take the time to answer them based on your insight and interpretation as your perspective are valuable. In the next video, we will start with another chapter, that is what books and burials tell us. Thank you.